Good morning. This is Angie Kieran with OmTurtle Yoga Spa and Cafe. Welcome to Yogathon Day 3. So the last 2 days, on Monday I did 10 yoga classes, Tuesday I did 5, today we're doing 5 more. Starting off with Yoga 101 Basics for yoga. So this is perfect for people out there who may have always wanted to try yoga but really didn't know where to start and didn't know the pose technology, or maybe was just a little nervous to try yoga in the first place. This is perfect for those kind of people. Also, we are going to do a slow flow right after this. So if you feel comfortable with the basics of yoga today, then go ahead and just jump right into the slow flow class. It doesn't hurt. Why not try it out and see where you are? But remember that yoga is a practice, and our body is different on a daily basis. Sometimes it wants to play, sometimes it doesn't, and that goes for advanced practitioners as well though. But at OmTurtle Yoga, you show up, super bendy body not required. You are welcome to come just as you are. So we are going to start a class today. I'm going to recap the last 2 classes that we had on Monday and Tuesday real quick. If you missed some of those fundamentals, certainly go back and watch those videos. They are very, very good at really getting into some details, especially around hand mudras, especially around breathing and how to breathe properly. But other than that, let's go ahead and join me. I'm going to go ahead and get on my space. Now, when you are starting a yoga class, of course, it's good to have a mat. Just make sure that the mat that you have is not a super fat mat. Some people might use a Pilates mat or a workout mat, which is really thick, and that will hurt your practice, because if you're trying to do a balance pose, you've got this super fat mat underneath of you, and it's going to make you feel a little wobbly. Now, if that's all you have for right now, that's okay. Just step off your mat when you're practicing yoga. So typically when we start a yoga class, we will start just like this. Sometimes your instructor will have you start standing, or maybe your instructor will have you start lying on your back. It really depends on the instruction of the class and where the teacher is wanting to take you that day. So I want to go through just a little bit more on breathing, because breathing is the most important part of your yoga practice. So just again, in and out the nose, all the way down to the belly. So let's go ahead and start our yoga practice out today with proper yogic breathing. So we're going to take that breath in the nose, and we're going to take it all the way down to the belly. And if you are a person that's under a lot of stress or anxiety, you might notice that it's very difficult to breathe past the diaphragm here, because the diaphragm is always kind of tight and tucked in because of our nerves. So it'll take a little bit for your body to learn how to expand past your diaphragm. But let's go ahead and try that today. Are you ready? So inhale through the nose and all the way down to the belly. Let's go ahead and try that. Inhale through the nose, all the way down to the belly. Good. Close your eyes. Inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale and exhale. Well done. 2 minutes of breathing will help to relax the mind and body. As you're breathing, soften the space between your eyebrows. Try to see if you can soften those cheeks and the jawline. Lengthen that neck and allow your shoulders to become wide. Try not to throw those shoulders back, just wide so you feel present. Continue to draw that breath down into the belly, feeling the length of your spine getting longer as you lift your head up towards the ceiling and press your tailbone down into the earth. Good. Allow your hips to relax and your legs to become long and loose underneath of you. Maybe wiggle your toes and your fingers just a little bit so that you can feel them just kind of let go. Good. This is going to be an easy class today, perfect for beginners. So if you're just now joining us, it will be half class, half tutorial. I'll explain what I'm doing throughout the way. Good, another long, slow, deep breath in. And we're gonna start with stretching the neck by dropping your right ear down to your right shoulder. And as you do so, lengthen that nice long side of the neck here, that nice long meaty muscle. Always breathing throughout your entire yoga practice, in and out the nose. And then dropping your left ear to your left shoulder, just like that. Good, left ear, left shoulder. Wonderful, make sure you're breathing. Bring your face back up into neutral. How about you hover your chin over your right shoulder? Thank you so much for joining us this morning, friends. We are working through day 3 of our Yogathon. Obviously, most gyms and yoga studios are closed right now, so we're working and doing the best we can to try to bring yoga to you at home. My hopes that you are staying safe and staying healthy. Go ahead and switch your chin to the other shoulder. Good, bring your head back into neutral. Go ahead and bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Let's go ahead and stretch those hands. Feed your fingers within one another and push that ceiling up. And this is called a palm tree sway. So we're simply just gonna go from side to side. There we go, just side to side, stretching into the side ribs. A lot of the beginning yoga poses that we do are very similar, and that's because it's important to kind of work through the body, starting with the neck and then working down the spine. We want to make sure before we get into the heat of the practice that we have tapped into each one of those muscles so that they are warm and ready to move, and you don't feel tight when you're trying to get your poses, getting into your poses. Good. Shine your heart forward, open up that chest. Good, lift up, big deep breath in. And exhale. On your exhale, bring your elbows together. And you're not gonna tug your neck down, but you're gonna give yourself a little bit of a break in the back body. I'll show you from the side. And we're just gonna see if we can stretch and track the spine here by pulling our hands forward, but not yanking our hands forward. We're just creating weight. And then we're gonna inhale and thrust the chest forward, lifting up our gorgeous eyeballs towards the ceiling. And exhale as we bring those elbows in. Good, how about we do this again? Open, lift those gorgeous eyeballs again, up towards the sky, and in, tuck it. Beautiful, I'm gonna move back into center so you can see me. Let's go ahead and release, bring your arms up high. Your right hand is gonna find the floor. Your left arm's gonna come up and we're gonna sweep and turn our face up towards the sky. Then we're gonna reach and go the other side. Good, this is just a 45 minute class today. And it's just gonna give you a snippet of what yoga is actually like. If you're looking for more tutorials, please go to Yogathon day 1 and day 2, up all the way, twisting to the right. Take your left hand, find a space on the outside of that right knee. Right hand finds a space behind you. Turn your face towards the right shoulder. This will help get you acquainted and oriented with yoga class. It's not as scary as it might look in yoga magazines or on TV. It really depends on the studio you're going to, though. If you're looking for something more advanced, then you'll find a studio that is more advanced, but ours is more so accessible to everybody. I'm more concerned with getting the everybody into a yoga class, no matter who you are. Inhale, rise. So many times people will come to our door and they want to try yoga, but they're afraid to try yoga because they'll say that they're overweight or not flexible, or they have health conditions, or they're too old, or whatever that is, and that's just not true. If you can breathe, my friends, you can do yoga. Good, lift your arms up, and if there's ever a pose that you cannot do, bring your hands behind you. Clasp your hands if you can, stretch and lift your eyeballs up towards the ceiling, thrust your chest upwards. Good, shine that heart, seated shark. And if there's ever a pose that you just can't do, that's okay, honor your body by doing something that does work for you. If you can, bring both hands to your right side and just kind of press it. See how I kind of brought them both over? And what that's doing is that's opening up my left shoulder here. Extend, bring your hands out behind you and try that other side. Good, breathe. Excellent. Come on back, let's shrug those shoulders. Let's bring those shoulders up really, really high towards those ears where we are intentionally creating a little bit of tension in our neck. We're gonna take a big deep breath in. And on the exhale, go ahead and drop them down. Good. We're gonna lift the shoulders up real high. Take a big deep breath in. And exhale, drop them down, relax, roll those shoulders. One more time, lift them up. Basically what we're doing right now is we're training our brain that if we're ever tight and tense in the neck, all we have to do is take a big deep breath in and then we can drop them down and elongate our neck. Our neck tends to cause us a lot of issues, especially when we're under a lot of stress. So if you tend to feel real tight in the neck, just remember to elongate. You can even take your fingers. Actually, let's practice that right now. Taking your fingertips and just drawing them along the outline of the neck. So if you're wanting to kind of clear your internal systems in regards to just staying healthy, you could always give yourself a little roll in the neck space, just kind of breaking up any mucus or ickiness that you might have there. You can always roll into the tonsils. You can sweep down, you've got lymph nodes just right underneath the skin of your body. We can get rid of some of the toxins easy by some dry brushing. Just like that, good. All the way down the neck will help to kind of cleanse and clear the space in your neck, especially if you're feeling icky there. So just a light brushing, like you're brushing off crumbs, if you will. And you can do that all day. I like to tell my classes too that if they're feeling tight and tense in the neck, what they can do is they can reach their hands all the way back behind them, just like this. Press your 4 fingers on both hands into the flesh and then rake those fingers forward. And as you do so, bring your chin into your chest. You might notice some knots there, and if you do, you've just located some stress knots. So what you could do is you could press your fingers deep into those knots and maybe even rotate just a little bit, and that'll help to break up the tension that you have in your neck. So let's do that together. Reaching the fingers back all the way as far as you can. Press all fingers into the flesh and then tuck your chin down as you drag your fingers forward, giving yourself a tiny little massage. Come all the way to the top of the shoulders. Let's try that again. All the way back, pressing your fingers into the flesh, tuck your chin into your chest, and go ahead and draw forward. Good. And you can even take your hand and kind of cross over a little bit and give yourself little squeezes. So I'm going like this. I'm massaging into my shoulders, just like that. So if you have and you find any tension, you have the tools to be able to quickly massage your neck and release some of that tension, just like this. Good, let's try the other side. So we're just kind of squeezing, we're cupping our muscles, getting down into our shoulders. Again, if you notice any knots, that's okay. Just kind of find those knots with your fingertips, press into those knots. Good, give yourself that massage. Wonderful. And if, we do have a spa here, we're not open right now, but if you ever need a full body massage, you can always come in and visit Cheyenne or Ginny and get yourself a full body massage. But this will get you through the day, right? All right, wonderful. Let's shrug those shoulders a little bit. Good, excellent. Let's start our practice. I'm gonna move my bolster out of the way. I typically start all my classes on a bolster or a blanket because I like having that elevation in my hips. And when your knees are down lower than your hips, then it helps to align your spine. It helps to kind of force you upwards. So I'm extending my right leg out just like this, and I'm flying my left foot into my inside of my thigh, okay? So I'm gonna pull my right toes back towards me so that I can engage the calf muscle as well as the hamstrings. So we're gonna inhale and lift our body upwards, and we're gonna go ahead and turn our body, and we're gonna float ourselves towards the right toe like this, turning our face upwards towards the ceiling. And while we're here, we're gonna take just a couple breaths. So go ahead and stay right there. Typically in yoga, you'll hold poses for maybe 2 to 5 breaths, depending on what kind of class you're taking. Stay right here and breathe. Try to see if you can concentrate on stretching that left hip, like opening up that left hip. See if you can dig into that a little bit. Now, if you just joined us, friends, I'm seeing more people join. Thank you so much for joining. These classes are recorded and they will be posted on Facebook right after class. So if you need to go back and restart, you can practice this class anytime you want. We've got lots and lots of classes uploaded now for you. Good. Go ahead and bring both hands now all the way up. Lift, breathe, get real long in the spine, and we're going to reach as best as we can towards those toes. You might not reach the toes. You might be at your shin or your knee, and that's okay. We're going to drop down, dropping our face down. Try to see if we can align our nose with the knees maybe. And just kind of breathe, just like this. Breathe. Take a few deep breaths here. See if you can focus in on the whole lower back, that nice long line where you would typically wear a belt. See if you can focus in on opening up that space a little bit. Bring your face forward. Good. If you could hold on to something, maybe your knee, the back of your knee, maybe your ankles, maybe your toes. We're going to flatten that chest and lift your eyeballs, lift your face. We're flattening out the back a little bit, and we're concentrating and we're focusing in. You're going to feel the hamstrings here a lot more. You're going to feel that back a lot more. We're strengthening that back here. Our left hand is going to stay right where it's at. As the right hand opens up behind you, we're going to add a teeny tiny little twist here. Your face follows that right hand. Beautiful. Good, and if you want to try something a little funky, you can also take your hands. This is not a beginner's pose, but it's kind of fun to do if you have the flexibility. And just kind of take your hands upside down, grabbing your foot, and kind of look up underneath. And that'll really, really help to kind of twist into the lower spine and open up that low back. Just fun things to do. Good. Slowly bring your body upwards and shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. And then let's go ahead and extend that left foot outwards. Let's bring the dragonfly of that right foot back in to your thigh. Beautiful. Your left toes are up. Left toes are up. And we're going to go ahead and bring those arms up high above our head. And we're going to reach left hand to the left toes. And our right hand is going to go ahead and lift up above our head. We're going to turn our face upwards and see if we can try to cultivate that stretch in that outer right hip. Let's take a few deep breaths here. Inhale through the nose. And exhale all the way down to the belly. Stay stretching here, my friends. Good. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Good. One more time. Inhale through the nose. Try to get it down to the belly. And exhale. And as you do, go ahead and turn your body. Lift one more time. The reason why we lift is we're trying to lengthen our spine. So you want to actually lift up as tall as you can. Because when we come back down, we want as much length as we can in our spine. And we're going to go ahead and bring our face in towards that knee. So try to see if you can align your nose, your forehead with that knee, your thigh. And allow that whole back body to start cultivating and opening there. Bringing those toes up, again, you're going to notice the calf is engaged as well as the hamstrings. Good. Now reach out and see if you can grab onto something. See if you can anchor onto something, whether it be your ankle, your toe, the back of your knee. And then we're going to flatten the back out a little bit and lift our head like we're turtling up in our head. And we're flattening the back forward, and what that's doing is that's creating strength. It's also intensifying the stretch in our thighs and our hamstrings. So let's go ahead and press forward, pull back just a little bit on your toes or your ankles. Very good, just like that. Good, pause here and breathe. Wonderful, remember breathing is the most important part of your practice. Consistent breathing in and exhaling. Good, how about one more deep breath in and exhale, good. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and relax. Go ahead and sit up. Oh, bring that knee with you. I'm going to have you do what's called Wheel of Life. Let's try that. So this is a twist in the spine, a gentle twist in the spine. What I've just done is I've placed both of my legs on one side, and they're basically staggered on top of one another. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to turn into my waist. And I'm going to try to see if I can crawl down onto my chest, and maybe, just maybe, my face will turn opposite of my knees. Now you also have the option, if you want to grab a blanket, a bolster, or a pillow and place it underneath of you as well if you need that lift. So for example, I'm going to take my knees where they are, right, just like this. I'm going to twist and turn as best as I can, and I'm gonna rest down on a pillow, the floor, or a blanket, whatever you have. And then if possible, turn your face opposite of those knees, okay? You can turn all the way down and just kind of relax into a gentle stretch. So let's try that. And I like to even, the same side that my knees are on, I'm gonna extend that arm up high because I wanna get just a little bit more of a stretch in that outer left side body. So let's go ahead and try that. You might notice a few crackles and pops in your spine, especially this early in the morning. If you do, congratulations. Let's take a breath or two here, sweet friends. Inhale. And exhale. Keep breathing. Inhale. And exhale. Well done. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Slowly start to crawl your way up. Coming onto your hands and knees, just to switch to the other side. Before we do so, we're going to arch the back for a quick cat, just to make sure our spine is aligned and open. And we're going to drop our belly button down for a cow, lifting our face just like that. And then walk both knees this time to the left side of the body, or to the right side of the body. They are still staggered, just like they were on the other side. And I'm going to twist and turn at the hips. My goal is to get my sternum somewhere either on the bolster, the pillow, or the mat, whatever you have handy. No worries if you don't have anything. And then I'm going to try to turn my face opposite of my knees. Now, if that doesn't work, of course, you can always stay same way. Don't worry if it doesn't work. And I'm going to drop down, and I'm going to relax, and I'm going to bring my right hand up this time to stretch out into that right side body. So let's take a few deep breaths here. Notice how my arm is right here. This cradles me. I actually like to take my elbow and press into the mat just a little bit so that it almost forces a little bit more of a twist. But let's take a few deep breaths here, sweet friends. When you have a pillow, the pose is actually called a supported child twist. When you don't have a pillow, it's called Wheel of Life. You know, sometimes in yoga people get freaked out because yoga poses have these Sanskrit words that we don't understand. We don't like to use Sanskrit too much in our yoga classes at OmTurtle because I want to make sure you understand what you're doing. And sometimes saying down dog is so much easier than Adho Mukha Savasana or things like that. So, one more deep breath in and exhale. Go ahead and push yourself up. Walk yourself back to your knees. Now, if you have cranky knees, I'm going to move the pillow or the bolster out of the way for right now. If you have cranky knees, it's always good to have a blanket handy, just in case. Even if you have young knees, it's good to keep a blanket handy just in case, because you never know if you're going to need that support in those knees. The knees don't stay young forever, right? All right, we're here in our tabletop pose here, just like this. I'm going to show you a little bit of a heated pose, which helps with the core, okay? So I'm going to take my left arm. First and foremost, I'm going to make sure this right arm is directly underneath the shoulder, and I'm going to extend the left arm. As I extend the left arm, I'm going to consider extending that right leg, the right leg, so opposite. So left arm comes forward, my face spins so that it's directly downwards, my nose is facing the mat. I've just extended my right heel, and I'm leading with the heel, not the toes. So let's go ahead and try that. Extend that left arm out and press away that right heel. Good. Sometimes you'll see us in yoga classes, we'll actually take our elbow and our knee and we'll pull it inwards just like that. That's a little bit more of an advanced, more of an intermediate type of yoga pose, but I was just showing you what you could do if you were practicing at home and you wanted to add a little bit more. Take a big deep breath in. And on the exhale, drop it down. Wonderful. We're going to switch to the other side. This time the right hand reaches outwards and your left heel extends. Sometimes you might want to lift your face, and if you want to, that's okay. It's up to you and your neck. I like to keep mine down. Good. Breathe. Make sure you're breathing. If you want to add that simple little crunch, you can. Bring your left elbow into your right elbow into your left knee. Good, and then extend. And you can do those as much as you want. Say you're really feeling fiery one day and you want to just maybe pop out 3, 4, 5, 10 of those, you can. Good, and relax. Well done. Shake out your hips just a little bit. We're gonna practice a tiger pose where we're gonna actually lift upwards this time. See the toes? Scooch up just a smidgy. Lifting upwards, just like that. And holding. Let's hold for a couple breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Now my toes might look like they're pointed, but they're not energetically pointed. Sometimes if you energetically point your toe, you'll end up getting a cramp in your calf or your foot, and you don't want that. And then relax, good. Switching to the other side, tiger pose. Good, take a couple deep breaths here. Good, good, good. Making sure your wrists are definitely directly underneath your shoulders. Always remember that in yoga practice. You want to make sure your body is in alignment. Always making sure that your elbows and knees are never locked. We keep them soft and supple. Good, relax. And then open your knees for a quick little child pose. Some people like to just sit right back on their heels and reach their hands out just like that, and that's totally fine. I prefer to have my knees out a little wider with my big toes touching. This is child pose. Dropping your head all the way down on your mat. Go ahead and stay here for a few breaths. Child pose is also called surrender pose. And it is a great opportunity. It's also your free pass in a yoga class. So if your teacher is ever doing something that's just a little bit too intense for you, you can always drop down into your child pose, or say you just want to relax. You don't want any more than what you were already given for class. You have the option always to drop down into your child pose. Now, if child pose feels weird to your legs, or you just can't get your hips back to your heels, you can always do what's called puppy pose, which is basically the hips being up. You don't have to come all the way down onto your heels if you'd like. You can always come right here or right here if that works for you. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and rise into our first down dog. Let's give that a try today. So right here, lifting up into our hips. When we are in our down dog, you'll do a ton of down dogs when you're in yoga practice. But I will tell you that the down dog is really hard when you start, and that's because we typically don't have that upper body strength in our upper arms to be able to hold a down dog. But I promise you, with practice, you are going to come to love those down dogs because it helps to flush fresh blood and oxygen into the brain. It creates those nice, strong, sexy shoulder muscles that you see yogis having. It helps to just stretch the entire body, the hamstrings, the calves, the feet, toes, the spine, everything. It works wonderful. We love our down dogs, and you will get used to them the more you practice. Now, if you ever need to take a break from a down dog, simply just drop down to your puppy pose. That's all. If you do your puppy pose, just remember it's a little bit more outwards. It's this way. Your arms are out a little bit more, just like this. So let's go ahead and try our down dog one more time. Let's lift up. If you can, maybe grabbing 3 to 5 breaths in your down dog is ideal. Your hands are shoulder width apart and your feet are hip width apart, and your head is dangly. So try not to lift or crank your head any. And let's hold here for just a breath or so. I know, it's probably hard to do at first, but that's okay. If you have a blanket up underneath, if you go ahead and scoop it out and just kind of toss it away for right now, we're gonna work into our warriors. Go ahead and lift your right leg up just a little bit, and we're gonna step that right leg up in between your hands as close as we can. And if you need help, remember you can always grab that foot and sit it up there. Your back foot is gonna pivot at a slight angle, so go ahead and rest it down at a slight angle. We're gonna make sure our foundation is solid before we rise in our warrior one. Always remember, sometimes we get in a hurry, and there's no hurry. We have to make sure our foundation is right before we move to the next pose. So let's go ahead and lift all the way up, being mindful that that knee needs to be stacked over the ankle, and that left leg needs to be long with a slight bend in that left leg, okay? Then we're gonna lift up with our arms, and our eyes follow our hands. We have a nice strong posture here in our warrior one. Warriors one's the warrior sequence is just that. They are warriors. They make you feel strong. They make you feel like a badass. So let yourself feel strong when you're here, right? You're lifting those arms. You're like, here I am. I always like to imagine, what am I holding? What am I holding? Lean into it. Lift your arms. Good. Just like that. Wonderful. Sometimes people will lean too far forward. We don't need to lean too far forward. Head our hips. Wonderful. Good. Let's bring our hands behind us. We're going to try a lightning. So go ahead, a lightning warrior. Go ahead and bring your hands behind you. Lift your head up if possible. If your hands do not clasp behind you, that's okay. Just like this is fine. So let's go ahead and try. Bringing our hands behind our back, lifting our chin. Gorgeous. I know your thighs probably shaking, so it's fine. So give that a try. I'm going to move upward so you can see me a little more. Good. And if you're feeling sassy today and you want to bring yourself forward and maybe even consider dropping the head down for humble warrior and bringing those hands up, it's more of an intermediate pose, but I'm just showing you options if you'd like to give it a try. Woo. Good. Go ahead and lift upwards, bringing the hands to the hips, pushing into the thigh muscles, lifting back up. Go ahead and relax and grab onto your hips. Go ahead and pivot and turn so that we are in a wide leg here. And all we're going to do is pivot and turn to the other side so we can do warriors on the other side. Sound good? So we're just pivoting here. Our back foot is at a slight angle. We are now making sure that that front knee is stacked over that ankle, just like that. And we're leaning in. Sometimes people will have a short warrior because they're kind of unsure of what they're doing. Give yourself some length. See where you're at, because the more length you get, the more energy that you will transfer into your thighs on both legs. You'll actually get more muscles by doing it that way. So try it out. See how wide you can open your stance. Good. And then turn your hips forward and lift upwards into your warrior. Good. And pause right here. Feel this pose. Allow yourself to feel strong like a warrior. Good. You're lifting your intentions, your affirmations, whatever that is, up above you. Good. And if you want to try what we did last time, bring your hands back behind you for your lightning warrior. Excellent. Lift your eyeballs up. Wonderful. Hold. Steady. I know you're probably shaking. I'm definitely shaking. This is my 16th class in 3 days. Start of my 3rd day. So that's why my voice is raspy too, I think. And then go forward, maybe consider, and bring those arms up behind you, just like that. Consider. Again, this is more of an intermediate pose, but if you want to try, I just want to give you options so you know that we build. We build upon poses. Good. Pressing into all 4 corners of both feet. We're going to lift, coming back up here. Make sure you don't let go of your hands before you get back to your hips, otherwise you're going to rubber band forward and you don't want to do that. So then we're going to release, grab onto those hips, and come back to center. So now you are in a wide-legged stance here. I'm going to ask you to turn your toes in just a smidge, and we're going to take our hands at heart center. We're going to lift up for a slight back bend here, and we're going to work ourselves into a wide-legged forward fold. So let's go ahead and reach down, all the way down. And drop our chin close to our chest. Good. Go ahead and breathe. Right now my fingertips are on the floor, but you have options. You could take your hands and place them on your hips if you wanted to, if you feel more advanced today. You could reach out for your ankles. You can have your hands directly underneath of you. My favorite though is with a block. I like to press my hands on the block. And I love to actually flatten my back. It's a different kind of stretch, but I like the feeling of strength alongside my spine. It helps to elongate those muscles and make them stronger. So it's up to you. Just make sure that you haven't locked your knees. Bend into those elbows. Make sure your knees are bent. Good. And if you would like, go ahead and place your left hand underneath of you, and let's add a tiny little twist here as we open up to the right side. Your wrist, elbow, and shoulder, as best as you can stack on top of one another. Good. Bring that right hand down. We'll switch to the other side. Lift, left side. Good. Stretching into the legs. Do you feel your legs stretching there? Got a whole lot going on here. How about we create a little bit of flow? We're going to exhale, bring it down. And inhale, lift it up. Good. How about we do that one more time? Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift it up. Wonderful. I'm going to challenge you now. We're going to take that left hand and reach out for those right toes. We're gonna turn and kind of look behind us a little bit. So let me kind of show you. I'm gonna scooch over. All I'm doing is kind of finding my body to the right side, and I'm turning. I'm pushing my fingers in the mat, and I'm looking behind me, kind of digging into my hips a little bit more into a twist. Can you try that? Let's see. Good, 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 good. Maybe even reaching for the ankle if possible. With both hands, try. If not, that's okay. Do your best. And then sweeping to the other side, walking your hands to the other side. Grabbing onto the ankles if you want, and just turning your face behind you. You're gonna notice you're gonna dig deeper into those hamstrings. Feels really, really good. Wonderful, good. Oh my gosh, we're almost to the end of our class already. I was having so much fun. Coming back to center, just a standing quick little cat-cow as you arch the back. Flipping the back really high for a cat, and then dropping the belly button down, lifting your face for a cow. We're gonna go ahead and come all the way up, grabbing onto the hips, and we're gonna heel toe in, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Good, I wanna make sure you get into your Shavasana today, so let's go ahead and come all the way up. Inhale, and exhale, we'll swan dive down to our toes. Go ahead and come all the way down to the floor. Shavasana is the meditation at the end of practice. And basically, it is my favorite part of practice. It is the culmination of a full practice. So what you'll do is you'll go ahead and lay down on your back, or you can sit in a seated pose if that works best for you, whatever you'd like to do. And we'll start to breathe. So it's your meditation. You'll close your eyes and you'll start breathing. You'll allow whatever work that you did in that class to kind of saturate the body. You'll consider where you are, consider how your body feels. And then the most important part of it is just you're giving yourself that quiet time. So go ahead and lay back on your mat and take a long, slow, deep breath into the body. Inhaling and exhaling. Long, slow, deep breath into the body. Inhale and exhale. Good. If there's any thoughts that come to mind, that's okay. Just allow them to move through you, not within you. Through the nose, down to the belly. Noticing how the breath changes temperature as it enters into the body. Allowing your body to melt into the mat beneath you. Softening the space between your eyebrows. Unhinging the jaw. Allow your shoulders to melt into the mat beneath you. Your spine becomes very long. Your hips are relaxed. Your legs are long. There are no obligations. There's nothing for you to worry about right now. It's just you and your body and your breath. Continue to inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. In a typical class, you might have anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes of breathing in your Shavasana. If you'd like to stay right here in your Shavasana, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, if you would like to end your practice with me today, go ahead and make a few small movements in your body. And very gently roll over to one side, resting for just a breath or two. And then rise up into your seated posture. Join me in your seated posture just like this. Good. And let's all take a nice long deep breath in, opening our arms up to the room, sweeping our hands up high, gathering in all this amazing energy we just created. Let's exhale and draw that energy down to your heart center. And with a gentle bow, let's honor each other and our practice this morning with a namaste. Thank you so much for joining class this morning. If you did miss it or you joined late, this is going to be uploaded in just a moment or so. You can visit and watch this class whenever you would like. If you would like to hang on, in about 15 minutes, I'm going to be starting a slow flow class, so it'll be similar to what we just did, maybe with a little bit more heat. But again, we're going to be doing yoga, this yogathon all week long, trying to provide you with classes while you are in your stay-at-home orders. So thank you so much for joining me. My name is Angie Karen. I am the owner of OmTurtle Yoga Spa and Cafe right here in Florissant in Ferguson, Missouri. Love you so much. Bye.